Hello, boys and girls. Greg from the Scary Spirits Podcast here to make you another cocktail. This week's cocktail is the Witch's Curse. And we're going to need a mason jar. To the mason jar, we add blueberries, boys and girls. And I will say, this recipe is from Instagram, and the guy who makes it is pretty vague. So, we're going to do the best we can. Handful of blackberries. And as much lemon lime soda as you want. I'm using Sprat Zero. I'm thinking 2 ounces. Two ounces lemon lime soda, or Sprat. Next, 2 to 4 shots of vodka, preferably grape flavored. I don't have grape vodka, but I have vodka, and I'm doing 4 ounces. As you do, boys and girls. 4 ounces of vodka. I don't have grape vodka, but I do have some blackberry syrup. So I'm going to add a little bit of blackberry syrup. I don't know, like half an ounce. Because why not? Then we're going to add a generous amount. Triple sec. I'm using Cointreau. I'm thinking 2 ounces is a generous amount. Next, we add equal parts grenadine and blue curacao. Equal parts. I'm going 2 ounces. What the hell? Wow. Maybe not. Maybe 1.5 ounces. Because that's a lot of grenadine. One and a half ounces. And then, boys and girls, we combine. And he says you should get a deep, almost black, purple color. Well, we got that going for us. And then we're going to add some ice. He does suggest dry ice, because you want to be fancy. So, Witch's Curse and whatnot. And then we garnish with a blackberry. Look at there. I still have one left. There you go, boys and girls. Witch's Curse. Pretty good. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. See ya.
Are you on the outs with a family member? Well, have we got the solution movie for you on this week's episode of the Scary Spirits podcast, Killer Christmas Elves. So, all you have to do is spend the night fighting off cursed, freaky Christmas elves together, and bam! Problem solved. What could be easier? Honestly, it doesn't make for the greatest horror movie, but it might give you the warm fuzzies from all the family bonding. Oh wait, that might be from the Witch's Curse cocktail. Whatever. Does it really matter? Cheers.
Welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast. Please be advised that the presenters may use adult language and/or discuss adult situations. This podcast is not intended for younger listeners or those that may be easily offended. So, if you're ready, let's go.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm Greg.
Hi, everyone. I'm Karen.
And welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast, the podcast that combines the two very different but highly compatible worlds of scary films and alcoholic spirits.
What could possibly go wrong?
Indeed. How are you, Karen?
I'm just excited to see you, Greg. After Krampusnacht, I'm happy to see you're still here.
I as well, Karen. I'm glad you were still here. Apparently, we've been not so naughty.
I guess there are people who were more naughty than we
Even
were.
Though we tried and tried.
I know. We're slipping. We're not the same as my mom used to say when she couldn't finish a whole bottle of gin. I'm not the woman I used to be. So there you go. With her friends, not alone. Let me just say that.
I love your mom. I would have loved to be your mom, I'm sure.
You would have hung out with my mom.
Sounds like my kind of people, Karen. Although not gin. Gin's not my...
Oh,
first
she wouldn't
choice,
have made you
whatever.
drink gin. She would have, if you said you liked something, she would have had it there when you showed up.
I like rum.
Yeah, she would have had it. How are you, Greg?
I am fantastic, Karen.
Why is that?
Got lots of thirsty work done today. I pulled my car into the garage for the first time in like 2 months.
Nice.
Halloween.
Success.
Halloween has been dispensed with.
Packed away.
So I'm very happy. I'm almost giddy with excitement, Karen. Can't you tell?
I'm sorry, I kind of ruined that then.
Karen, was this
Yes.
your film?
Yes, it was. And let me just say, it was on a Christmas horror list. So
Well, as it would be.
I guess
It's a Christmas horror film. Why wouldn't it be on the Christmas horror film list?
it was stretching, that's for sure. But not to leave you in suspense, I picked Killer Christmas Elves from 2021.
That classic from 2021.
The classic Christmas horror film from 2021.
Any reason you chose this film, Karen, other than you were like feeling festive and it was on a list?
Nope, no other reason whatsoever.
All right.
It's almost, I should say, I knew someone in it or something, but nope, I just picked it. I have no excuse.
All right. Do we have a cocktail to go along with it?
We do.
And what would that be, pray tell?
It's called the Witch's Curse cocktail.
Go on. How would we make that?
You're going to need lemon lime soda, blackberries, triple sec, vodka, grenadine, blue curacao, and they want you to use a piece of dry ice, which would be cool, but
It would be
or
cool.
regular ice, which is, I made a pun, which would be very cool because it's dry ice. Anyway,
Look at you.
I used
Karen.
regulars. I must be giddy too. Into a mason jar or cup, and I'm going to show Greg, look, I have my mason jar.
Look at
and
mine.
yeah,
Mine too.
that's how classy we are. We
You
both
have a
have
lot more
mason jars.
blueberries than yours, though, but go on.
They're blackberries.
Blackberries. That's right. Blackberries.
Into a mason jar or cup, add a handful of blackberries and as much lemon lime soda as you want, followed by a generous amount of triple sec. This one is all about your heart. Like, what do you feel? Until you get to the vodka, and then you add 2 to 4 shots of vodka. Again, whatever you feel.
What did you
Now add-
pick, Karen?
2.
Oh, I did 4.
Shocking. But you have to lead with your heart, Greg. And then add in equal parts grenadine and blue curacao. You just combine
What
them
were
all.
your parts, Karen?
I used half an ounce.
I used 2 ounces.
Wow, that's going to be sweet.
Everything had 2 ounces in it, except for the vodka, which had 4.
You know, that's your mason jar is much larger than mine. Then you add it, you just pour it all together. It gets this really cool, deep purple color.
I love the color.
The color is really nice. And even when it was mixing, it looked really cool, the red and the blue. And then add your ice and serve immediately, enjoy, and drink responsibly, it says.
And this goes with the film in some way, Karen?
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't see the beginning of the film?
I missed it. Oh, well, there is a witch in it.
Who curses something? Yes.
Yeah, it's all coming back to me now, Karen. All right. Should we give our friends and listeners time to make their own witch's curse cocktail?
Yes.
It is a lovely purple.
I
Purple is
agree.
my favorite color, boys and girls. Hold on. And we're back.
Yes, we are.
All right, Karen, might you have a brief synopsis of this film from way, way back in 2021 for us?
I do.
Do you remember 2021, Karen?
It's a blur.
Go on. Tell us all the Christmas tale about killer elves.
After a witch curses a toy factory, a father and his estranged son spend the night of Christmas Eve fighting a horde of malevolently mischievous elves in a small neighborhood.
Thank you, Karen. I see what you did there with the witch's curse, I guess.
Are we a match?
We are a match. I don't remember the toy factory, though.
It's at the beginning.
But it
Were
may
you
be in
hitting-
my notes. Just because I don't remember it doesn't mean I didn't see it.
True. Truth. And that goes for both of us. Yes.
You know, I got witch's curse here. I got beer. I got, I had an eggnog
Thirsty work.
earlier. Thirsty work. Yeah, as you do.
I get it.
All right, Karen, tell us everything you really enjoyed about this film from 2021. Killer Christmas Elves. It's our second Killer Christmas Elf film in a row, but I think mine was much better. But go on.
There's sequel potential if you stayed past the credits to see the extra little clip there.
There was a little clip, but I didn't stay way past the credits.
No, that was it.
All right, just a little clip with the witch.
Mhm.
All right.
Cursing the bunny. She's holding
Okay.
a bunny toy that she was cursing.
Okay, I didn't notice that. But it makes sense now that you say it.
The only other thing I'll say is there were some nice references to other films. There's Psycho, The Shining. What's the one? Monty Python. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. Did you like anything about it?
Well, I have to agree with everything you said because it's a cheap, cheesy film, and there are references to all the things you mentioned, and I enjoyed those references.
There's probably others that I might have missed. I don't know.
I thought some of the actors were okay. I thought the son was good. I liked him.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Didn't like anyone else, but I made a note of him for some reason. Tommy is his name. Tommy.
Yes.
Tommy, can you hear me? That's a Who reference, boys and girls. But that's all I have. It was short,
Small cast.
small cast. Well, there was a lot of cast in my notes here, but we didn't see. I have no idea who all these people were. But
The
people I
main
wrote
story.
down-
There were some extra neighbors and things that were there,
Yeah, I have
but
no idea. But it's basically 4 or 5 people throughout the whole thing you need to worry about. The rest of them don't care.
there's some good music, sort of, sometimes.
I did not make a note, Karen.
There was one
And usually that is my go-to.
there was one part where I made a note where they sync the music. It was pretty funny. It has its moments. It's not my humor, surprisingly.
Isn't it?
They didn't hit it right somehow. I don't know. Normally I would like something like this, but it almost took itself too seriously to be that stupid. The acting wasn't good enough to make it stupid. I don't know how to explain that, but that's my feeling.
Okay. I kind of disagree with you there. It was just stupid enough, and they acted just stupid enough to make it stupid. Almost so stupid that you would enjoy it. I'm sure some people would enjoy it.
I would have rented it at Blockbuster and I would have been banned from Blockbuster. I definitely, it would have caught my eye.
Well, it
I
wouldn't have
would've-
been there, Karen, so you would have to
Well,
order
true.
it. You
If
had to,
it- If it was
Order it,
available back in the day, but-
you need to have them order it for you specifically because they
in the future.
they ain't putting this in the Blockbuster.
So,
They-
as you can guess,
unless some crazy woman wants it.
right, from the future. Can you order me a film from 2021?
Anything else, Karen?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right. Tell us everything you maybe did not enjoy. Any issues with this film at all? Any?
I didn't like the acting. I guess the story was okay. It's just silly. And it looks like, when we joke that we could have made Plan 9, we definitely could have made this one. I mean, the special effects are ridiculous. For 2021, I don't know if they were doing it on purpose. Were they doing it on purpose? That's what I mean. I couldn't tell. Like, if I knew for sure that it was not on purpose, then I would have accepted it, but I couldn't tell. So I don't know. It's
keep selling it, Karen. Keep selling it.
if it's your thing, and normally this is what I would like. I would like it. But for some reason I just didn't. I don't know why. Maybe I wasn't in the right mood. Do you have any thoughts on it?
For me, it's if I'm suffering from insomnia and I'm up late at like 3 a.m. and this comes on, I'll probably watch it.
You'd probably think it was funny.
I might fall asleep.
Maybe if you were high, maybe. I don't know.
Karen.
It's legal here in Ohio.
The hell you say, me?
Well, or maybe after a day of thirsty work, you might, sit down and think it's funny, but I think you have to know going in, it's going to take a special mood to get you to like this movie, I think. They look like they were having fun. I will give them that.
I agree.
I think, they looked like
they weren't taking themselves too seriously. They were
having a good time and someone was filming them. So I don't begrudge them that. I just thought I didn't like the son. So I had trouble because I thought he looked too old and I thought he was just like a dead fish or something. I just didn't get anything from him. So it's interesting that you did like him. So there you go. Just depends on if you liked the son, then you probably wouldn't have hated the movie as much. But I just thought he was horrible. So I had a hard time with that.
Maybe it's because I'm a father, Karen, and you're a mother, and we have different experiences.
He looked like he was 25.
So?
Yeah, but he's acting like a sullen teenager. I was like, get over it, for the love of God.
Well, we learned that they're estranged, like father and son. We don't know how long they've been estranged.
5 years. Well, he hasn't seen him in 5 years, but it was 12 years ago that they split up. We know they put all that in there.
So maybe he was 18 and now he's 24. It happens. Shit happens, Karen.
I'm not saying shit doesn't happen, but he shouldn't
boys
have been
will be boys.
Well, that I will never agree with. Anyway, so moving on.
Karen, you have 2 boys. Boys will not be boys, so you're arguing with me about that?
I don't use that as an excuse.
But will boys be boys, Karen?
Sometimes.
In your experience?
Sometimes they're not, but that's not an excuse for behavior.
Boys will.
Not an excuse for behavior. Okay, anyway.
I didn't say that, but boys will be boys.
That's how they use that, Greg. Oh my God. Let's just move on.
I'm not using it as an excuse. I'm just saying boys will be boys because I am one and was one. And I have one. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
Are we ready to move on to a review of the time?
Sure, let's do that.
I would love to quiz you on Google users and IMDb and all that shit, but sadly, I cannot find that, Karen.
None of them?
No. Karen, this is so under the radar. I can tell you the IMDb, Karen. It has a 5.8 out of 10.
What? All right.
That's all I got for you. I could not compare it to
I was thinking as I was watching
Google
this
or anything else.
Whoever keeps track of these things, maybe, I don't know. We keep track of how many people listen to our podcast. So I'm wondering if they keep track and they went, oh my God, 2 people watched it. Like if they get this huge spike because 2 people watched it.
Amazon keeps track, Karen. That's why The Raven was unavailable when we recorded it a couple weeks ago. They were trolling us.
No one was watching?
No, they were trolling us.
No, they were trolling us.
They knew we were going to.
No, I'm saying like the people who made this, if they watch, if they look every once in a while and they go, ooh, in December, they probably get a couple people in December. It wasn't even free. It was $2.99.
Well, $1.99 for standard definition, Karen. That's what I
should have looked for that.
That's what I paid. $1.99. Probably
there you go.
$2.10 or something like that. But whatever. Because of course the effing government's got to get their cut, Karen.
Okay. So where's the review of the Times?
Oh, you want to hear the review?
Yeah, right. Let's go to do that.
The review I have is from the Utah International Film Festival, because apparently this was in that film festival. I don't know. From 2023, Christmas wouldn't be complete without watching an exciting and hilarious film. And if you haven't planned on anything yet, well, I've got the perfect film for you. It's called Killer Christmas Elves by Joshua B. Hall. I had a great time watching this horror slash comedy film. It was super funny, Karen, and insanely suspenseful and exciting.
Is that related? Is he related to the guy?
I don't know. I have no idea who wrote this. Plus, it had a great pace, too. I love how unpredictable the chaos of the elves are in the extent of what they can do and still make the scene funny. But of course, it was the cast led by Steve Lesser that made the whole experience exciting. I have no idea. Probably Dad. They made the whole elves experience super real. Their performance was superbly convincing, Karen. Amazing work to the team of Killer Christmas Elves.
Well, I don't agree with that.
So that's the review from the Utah International Film Festival.
But you know, everyone has different opinions, so.
We do. We all have our opinion. And you know what they say.
I'd be interested if anybody else would watch this and let me know.
I would say if I was in the right frame of mind, this would be funny.
I agree. I do. You have to be in whatever that.
I knew what I was expecting. If I knew this was what it was going in, and I kind of expected it, but it was worse than I thought. I was expecting better, but whatever.
I was not pleasantly surprised.
All right, Karen, what kind of cocktail rating do you want to give this film?
I'd give it a 5.
A 5? Is that our worst?
Yes. If you're in the mood for it, I maybe give it a 4. It does have a few funny moments, and I like the references to the other movies.
I'm going to agree with you, Karen. It's 5 cocktails. It took us 5 cocktails to watch this. That's our worst rating ever. And I think this is only the second film we've given a 5, isn't it?
Well, and I was arguing about the
much to your chagrin.
So. Yes.
Are you going to try to defend this one?
No, but as we've said, it's silly. So, you know, I wouldn't pay to watch it, but if it came on at 3 o'clock in the morning, I know, but I didn't know when I went into it that as I'm recommending, I'd say if it's on in the middle of the night, I would watch it. Would I go to Amazon and pay $2.99? No, not
or $1.99 for standard definition.
But if you can find it for free, it's silly.
Yeah, I would say it's entertaining enough if you can find it for free. And in the right frame of mind, you will be entertained, boys and girls.
And it's probably more clever than I give it credit for. With the movie references that were in there, I bet there are other references in there that I didn't get.
You pretty much named everyone I saw. So I'm not even sure I made note of them in my notes here, but I have 4 pages of notes.
I will also agree with the review. It did have a nice pace. It did move along.
It did move.
You know, they only stopped to do the dramatic reconnection and they made it funny to give all the information. And so it does move. It's only an hour and 7 minutes, but it moves rapidly. The elves aren't dead and then come back to life. It just moves one thing after another. The editing's a little weird. There's some characters that don't even need to be in there, like the grandma or whatever, whoever that was.
I don't know who that was.
There's some
card shark, apparently.
Yes, wandering storylines, but you know, it does move forward in a way that keeps you entertained.
There were comic relief as if it needed more comic relief, Karen. All right, are you ready to get into it scene by scene?
Let's do it.
Killer Christmas Elves from 2021. It's rated 13 plus, Karen, for violence and foul language. Sadly, no nudity, but they could have got some in there.
There were a couple opportunities.
There was a couple scenes where like, oh my God, that could totally be nudity, but no, they did not. Film starts and we have credits.
And they're funny credits.
And they're painting elf heads?
Those are the
toy store?
The toy factory.
All right.
Yeah. But it has things like starring your mom's celebrity crush and that one guy, featuring love interest in a 70s porn star mustache, also featuring a Utah Rambo, an old woman. So, you know, they're being silly from the start.
Who's your favorite 70s porn star mustache guy?
I don't know. I don't think I have one. Do you?
Oh, you like them all?
Well, I don't even know any, so I can't even say.
All right, moving on. And I wrote, the witch curses one of the elf dolls, ?
Oh my God. Okay, there's a whole bunch of, there's like 10 minutes of film before that. There's a couple of people they're making the dolls. They're doing quality control. They're making sure that it has 2 arms, 2 legs, and they're passing it down. It's just 3 people sitting at a table. And then as they pass it to the third person, Gertrude, she's the witch, she's cursing them. Then the boss comes along and he's going to fire her because of her witchy stuff, but she does a spell and she ends up firing the girl, the girl that's next to her. There's a boy, a young man, and 2 women. And then the boss fires the middle woman. She leaves. And then everything, it's like she's cursing them like voodoo dolls. He says, don't you be doing your voodoo shit here, basically.
And at one point, the girl who got fired, who's not the witch, is in a car with another dude.
That's the other guy who was working in the factory. She's waiting for him. He's her ride home.
Yeah, and apparently she's not going to have any money for Christmas. And the girl took one of the elves or something.
She stole a bunch of money, the elf and the guy's cheese balls that he was eating.
And then the next thing I have is a girl and a guy paint cuteness on the elves. Do they do that?
I didn't see that.
Right. So then an elf from the back seat slashes the driver's throat, ?
Yeah, so she's showing him everything that she stole from the factory, and she just throws the doll in the back seat. He says it's kind of cute, and she says it's not. And then he's there's pulling out of the parking lot. He's looking in the rearview mirror, and the elf attacks him.
And then the elf drags the girl away. And
he stabs the guy, and I said some red water comes out.
It was very watery.
And then she gets dragged under the car. Everyone's out of the car and the elf drives off.
Elf drives away.
His arms on the steering wheel.
I don't know how he's controlling the pedals, but go ahead on. So then we see Guy at the airport on the phone, apparently talking to his mom.
Yeah.
And I wrote, I think he's picking up his brother, but no, that's not what he's doing at all. But I made a note they're in Utah.
They are in Utah because they're at the Salt Lake airport.
Beautiful country, Karen.
He's 18.
And apparently it's dad.
Oh, he's not even 18 because he says, when I'm 18, I'm not going to talk to either of you or something. He's surly and he's waiting on his dad.
And so apparently there's issues with dad. I don't know. Next thing
the dad's trying to talk to him in the truck and the kid's refusing to do it. He keeps calling his dad by his name, James. Refuses to call him dad. And James is a teacher. And then they just basically ignore each other.
Next thing I have, they arrive at home, or dad's home, and dad has a conversation with Bart from the HOA, I wrote.
Everyone's favorite, the HOA dude. Bart says they were all supposed to put up classy decorations. James says he was at the meeting, but all James put up was a wreath. And Bart's not happy about that.
But Bart has a bunch of elves, Karen, right?
He's giving away holiday gift baskets.
Yes, as you do.
He says the factory burned down, but he somehow rescued all the elves. And he's giving them away in these baskets with other things. There's like other small gifts in the basket. He's giving them to all his favorite neighbors.
So then the son is staying with dad. We have a shot of another family in the neighborhood with the gift basket, and the young daughters are practicing target practice with their airsoft guns on elves.
Yeah, they're shooting their elf.
I would have wanted to see more of them, Karen.
Yeah, they
why don't they come to the rescue later?
They do a little bit for their dad. But it's December 23rd we see, and the dad's making what looks like a protein shake or smoothie and some falafel, because apparently the son is now vegetarian or vegan because the mom is remarried, and that's what they've decided to do.
So have we done the witch's curse already, Karen? Is that all we got from the witch's curse?
Yeah, at the beginning, she cursed the...
You're just making sure.
My God. Just give it to me. There's a curse.
Yeah, it's fine.
At the beginning, and there's the curse at the end.
I'm worried I might have missed something.
No, so then they...
I love the witch's curse, Karen. You go. You go,
they talk about food, and he's mad that they're vegan. The son is, and he wants to have a burger. And then turns out the food is terrible, and he ordered a pizza. So they do have a little bit of a moment over the pizza.
Yeah, he makes them a smoothie, but then the doorbell rings, and it's a pizza delivery, and they enjoy that moment of the pizza.
They bond a little bit,
as you do. Hello, boys and girls. Karen and I hope you are enjoying the podcast. You know what I think can make your listening experience even better? A delicious themed adult beverage.
You can find all our drink recipes on our website, scaryspirits.com, in the recipe den. Tune in every Wednesday and join us for a drink. Now, back to the show. Then the neighbor brings a gift basket to the girl working on a car.
Yeah, there's a beautiful woman working on a car, and he brings the basket. He's giving these baskets to all his favorite neighbors, but it's all the neighbors.
It's a girl then working on a car. She's lying on the ground underneath the car.
Yeah, on one of the, what do they call those things that roll
Dollies?
On the dolly, yeah. And he makes an inappropriate remark about headlights, and he's trying to talk about how he's a gearhead, and he starts mentioning all his Richard Gere movies. Her name is Freddie. She's not getting it. We
could have used more headlights there, Karen. That's all I'm saying.
Could have used more Freddie, yeah.
Or headlights. So then the girl narrowly escapes being hit by a hammer, I wrote.
Yeah, I think the elf knocked it off, but she avoided it.
Then we cut back to Dad, Tommy, I guess, and Dad with an elf on the shelf, and he wonders where it came from.
Wait for that, just because you mentioned elf on the shelf.
I have no elf on a shelf in my house, Karen.
I never had it either. When did Elf on the Shelf start? The book and the box set launched in 2005. The tradition has gained popularity over the years, likely because the Scout Elves' shenanigans have been well documented on social media. According to recent reports, the Elf on the Shelf company, Lumistella Company, has sold over 22.5 million elves globally, though the exact annual sales figures are not publicly disclosed. Yeah, I never had an elf on a shelf.
So we had a little elf like that in the house, just like that, but it was not called Elf on the Shelf at that time.
Before there were Scout Elves, which is what these are. They're scouts because they report back to North Pole. There was Frisbee, a pixie elf that Carol Ebersold received when she was a child. In 1974, Ebersold told her 3 children that the elf was there to keep an eye on them in the days leading up to Christmas and would report back nightly to Santa about their behavior.
Well,
Decades
I never got
later,
any of that shit, Karen.
Carol and Shonda turned this charming family tradition into the book, The Elf on the Shelf. So there were elves before. I think there was one even in the 1960s. It's not the elf that is new necessarily. It's the whole concept that the elf is watching and reporting back every night. And then he has to move every day or something. I don't know. I never had one. Never had one as a kid. Never had one in my house. So
me either. I don't want one.
Well, it's a little late now. I don't think your gift of a wife would want you to move the elf every night.
I have to move it? Does it move on its own?
Parents move it. Well,
okay. All right, just more lies for the children. All right. So then Dad and son go to bed, and then Dad is sleeping, but he's startled and wakes up, and he goes downstairs to the basement, grabs a bat.
You're right. Sorry.
Son overturned the Christmas tree. I don't know, but son denies it. And then
there's a big mess in their living room. The tree's overturned, and they heard a noise. That's why they both came downstairs. Dad thinks that the kid just ruined Christmas by knocking over the Christmas tree and everything, but he's denying it. I didn't do it. And of course, the dad thinks he did it because who else would have done it? There's no one else there.
And then they share kind of a moment, but then Bart arrives to set up decorations because he promised to come back.
Yes. So they thought the noise was Bart, but then there's a noise in the kitchen, and they argue about whether it's a raccoon or a possum, and they chase it around, and they finally put some sort of bin over the top of it.
And then we have Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies from the Nutcracker. That's the only reference I made to the music. And Dad and son investigate the kitchen. I don't know what's going on there, but Elf runs away. Son tries to catch it, and they trap the elf in a Rubbermaid container, I wrote, Karen. Elf begins cutting its way out of the container, and then a knife hits the wall between the two of them. So I guess they're leaning up against the wall, and the knife comes in, and it's a killer elf.
It was pretty funny. So they trap it. They lay the bin on top of the elf, and then they put a chair on top of it. I don't know what that's going to do. But the elf has a knife, and you hear this. He's just cutting himself out. He cuts a little doorway, and then he runs. And they try to chase him, and the kid's trying to film it the whole time because he's like, you never know what will go viral, and it's throwing knives at them, multiple knives, and then the dad hits it with the bat out the door, so the elf is out the back door.
Dad knocks it out the sliding glass door with a baseball bat, and then we cut to Bart and his dog, and the dog is fighting with an elf.
Yeah, the Bart's letting his dog out to go to the bathroom, in the backyard, which I think the dog is a long-haired Chihuahua because it has a little bit, it looks like a Pomeranian, but I'm pretty sure it's a long-haired
I
Chihuahua.
thought it was
But
a
anyway,
Pomeranian, but
it
go
had
on,
the
Karen.
tail of a Pomeranian, but it had the head of a Chihuahua. So I'm going with Chihuahua. The long-haired Chihuahuas are alert, curious, and busy, adaptable to a wide variety of living conditions, confident, self-reliant, a vigilant watchdog with a ready bark. Doesn't need a lot of exercise and doesn't need a
Bite
lot
my
of
ankles
grooming.
off.
Yeah. So what do you think its number is out of 140 breeds?
Smart.
Smart, intelligence-wise.
I've only known one of these, and it was a Pomeranian because that's what it looked like to me. So I'm thinking that's pretty low. I'm going to say 76, Karen.
127 out of 140.
That's pretty good then.
But that's where they do, there's different kinds of intelligence, but that's
What you're saying is they're stupid dogs.
No, they're just not the smartest dog. When you come to things that they measure, like border collies are the smartest, it means they learn commands quickly.
I love border collies.
But I don't think they listen.
What about
They're
Shetland
strong-willed.
sheepdogs, Karen? That's my favorite dog.
They're pretty smart
I
too.
bet that's pretty smart too. Yeah. All right, moving on.
So the dog's fighting with the elf.
Yeah, dog hits. So dad hits the dog, or
Oh my God, did you watch this movie?
yeah, I have dog hits the dog with a baseball bat. That's another thing I have. That's the next thing I have.
No. So the elf kills the dog
Yeah.
behind some Christmas
Dog
presents.
stabbed with Christmas ornament.
Well, it's one of those things you'd put in the ground. And then the dad, James, and Tommy come running, and the dad hits the elf out of the yard. But then Bart comes out. So he thinks that James and Tommy have killed his dog.
Yeah, dad blames the elf, and the son chases him. And neighbors watch from the window. Are these new neighbors?
Those are the parents of the twin. Well, I thought they were twin girls. Yeah.
Okay.
They're watching and laughing that they're saying James has finally lost it because it looks like James is just destroying all of Bart's Christmas decorations.
Next thing I have is Bart and James argue about Christmas display.
Because Bart keeps saying it's non-denominational, and James keeps making the mistake of calling them Christmas decorations.
And Bart blames the HOA, and then another neighbor tries to calm them down. And then apparently he's stabbed through the gut, Karen, and it's bad special effects.
It's terrible. I couldn't even tell what happened to him. But yes, he's stabbed and killed. The one he comes
like
out,
he's candy cane, right? It's like
I guess it's like he's a hippie. He's got long hair
over the
and a mustache, and he's basically saying, "Let's just take a breath and calm down and figure this out." And then he's dead.
So then Bart sees one of the toy elves running away. Neighbor watching. Dad knocks the elf off a zip line because apparently there's an elf on a zip line coming down. Then I have more elves.
The phone is a running joke. It keeps getting, every time he's trying to call 911, it's busy. And they ask Bart, how many baskets did you give out? And there are 10 baskets.
Yeah, I wrote.
And then they see
busy.
fireworks they see fireworks in the distance. And the dad thinks that's his brother Ronnie's house because he almost blew himself and the entire neighborhood up once before.
And we see the elves in various houses in the neighborhood. Bad effects, I wrote. Girl who was working on her car, taking a shower, Karen.
Of course.
Missed opportunity right here. Missed opportunity. That's all I'm going to say.
She was a beautiful woman. Yeah.
Apparently she is slashed by an elf, ? And then there's a Psycho reference because she's in the shower and it's a whole Psycho thing, right?
Down to her ripping the shower curtain down.
Yeah, it's pretty much a scene by scene.
And the chocolate syrup going into the drain. So, yeah.
So then elf attacks a neighbor and sets him on fire. Son trying to hit the elf with a baseball bat.
But we should say the elves look like cartoons superimposed onto the movie. Like they're not even.
I wouldn't call them cartoons. I would call them images of the elves superimposed. Yeah.
But they look cartoonish to me.
They are.
Anyway, so they're very bright and the film is very dark. The lighting is very poor in this movie.
It's pretty bad.
But the elves themselves are brightly lit doing their thing.
911 still busy, Karen.
Yep. He's chasing him with like a torch, like a blowtorch, and sets him on fire. And then the parents are like, oh my God, there's more of these things. And the mom has to go check on the girls.
Next thing I have is something about gift baskets and Bart
Yeah, they figure out that he's given the gift basket, so they know there are more elves. So the mom runs to the house because she figures there might be more in the house, and she's worried
The
about her
mom?
girls.
What mom? Oh, the mom of the twins?
Yeah,
All right. And then we cut to a lady playing cards with the elves, Karen. The older lady we saw
yeah. I called
earlier.
her grandma, but she's a pistol. But
And I wrote, are they playing blackjack? And I'm like, oh, no, they're not playing blackjack because they're playing poker. They're
they're
playing
playing
like
poker.
Texas Hold'em or something.
She's tied up, and the two elves are looking at her, and she's handling it all well. She's winning.
She is.
And then she says, okay, I've played your game. Now you have to play mine.
And she wants to have drinks with the elves, Karen.
Yes.
A woman after my own heart. Then we cut to another girl, the other girl checking on the kids, and she's
That's the
strangled
mom
with
checking
Christmas
on
lights.
the girls. She sees they're fine. She starts to walk out, and she's getting strangled by Christmas lights. But
Daughter gets up and shoots the elf with an airsoft gun, I wrote.
yeah, which she keeps under her pillow.
What did you do, Karen? It's an
Came in
airsoft
handy.
gun. I have one in my
Under your
nightstand drawer. No, nightstand drawer for deer and squirrels and chipmunks and whatnot. Then mom and daughters run out to join the others girls, or I wrote this, girls are smarter than anyone. The
Yeah,
girls are smartest people in this film.
They start talking military talk. It's 2 clicks away to the hospital. I said they're going to take over and make everything okay.
No, but no, we don't.
No, they're
Moving
not
on.
very good actresses, but they're
They're
all
fine.
right.
They're good actors.
So they all leave to go to the hospital. Well, wait.
Comment about Drew Manning. Who's Drew Manning?
I don't know who that
all
is.
the Mannings. Who's Drew Manning, Karen?
They said, is that Drew? So he shows up and he looks like Rambo and he's got the guns and everything.
He's
and then
not a Manning brother, Karen.
Not that I know of.
Boys and girls, Karen loves the Manning family.
No, I just like Peyton Manning.
Or at least Peyton. But there's no Drew Manning. I know there's Peyton and there's 3 brothers.
Oh, wait. Drew Manning is a personal trainer, blogger, and former medical technician. Manning has been featured on Good. That's him. So I think it might have been a
cameo.
Cameo.
Or Drew Manning, the famous
Fit 2
Drew
at
Manning.
Fit 2. I guess he's famous. You can tell how much we work out.
Not Peyton or the other brothers. Where are
No,
the other
what's
brothers?
Cooper's the other brother.
Cooper, yeah, he's the good one. He would have been the best if he would have not gotten hurt.
He didn't get hurt. He has a condition. He has his
Karen,
bones break
tell us
easily.
all about it.
I don't. Anyway, Drew Manning makes an appearance and he's like, follow me. And he's got his AK-47s or whatever. And one of the elves pulls a pin on a hand grenade and blows him up. So he's about 10 seconds.
He's like in 10 seconds. Yeah.
Somebody must have known him. He said, okay, I'll do it.
So then we see the dad and son going to see the uncle.
So the family leaves to go to the hospital. And the grandma's playing cards and he's getting them drunk.
Not the grandma, it's a grandma.
Yeah, grandma. And then Bart's talking about how he wanted to give everybody just something fun. And there were a bunch of Grinches. And the kid finally gets through to 911.
Son calls 911, gets through. Elf comes running in and cuts off Bart's arm.
Well, a woman runs past and an elf is chasing her and cuts off Bart's arm. And I said, please say it's just a flesh wound.
But
and
he
then
did not.
He did later,
Really?
Not at that moment, but he does say it later that it's just
but
a
the
flash
911 operator does not believe the son. They've got lots of crank calls that day.
Says, yeah, it's the 10th one today.
There's a new Kids on the Block reference.
Well, Bart's getting delirious because it's not bleeding his arm. It's just gone.
Yeah, it's severed cleanly, and apparently it's cauterized because the sword must have been hot.
Yes.
I don't know. And then 911 wants to talk to Bart, and then it hangs up on Bart.
Yeah, Bart's a little loopy.
Then dad and the neighbor woman with a sword, question mark, is what I have next.
So the woman who ran past, the elf was chasing her, that cut off Bart's arm. So they're dealing with Bart, and the dad runs off to go help the woman. And she trips him up when he rounds the corner because she doesn't know that he's following her. And then they kissy face because she's saying, where does it hurt? He's showing her different places.
I wrote they share words, so that's what that means. Hurts here, she kisses it.
Yes.
Hurts here.
His cheek.
Points to a different face on his face. She kisses it.
Yeah.
Then he points to his lips and says, it really hurts here. And then they kissy face. How romantical, Karen.
Then they all decide to go to Uncle Ronnie's house.
Yeah, so
including Bart. They pretend Bart, they think he's dead. They start to do a eulogy.
Yeah, I
He's
wrote.
waking up. It's like 4 times he does it.
Yeah, the next thing I wrote, he's still alive. He gone. Still alive. He gone.
And
But
they
Bart is
finally,
still alive, and Dad picks him up.
they think he's dying, but he doesn't. They finally get him up. They're walking to Uncle Ronnie's house, and Sophia's just carrying Bart's arm and swinging it all around. It's funny.
Then we
Then
come back
back
to
to-
the woman playing cards
Yeah.
with the elves, and she's making drinks.
Yeah, she's making him drink.
Should have picked one of these drinks.
It was just whiskey.
Okay, whatever.
Get over it. I like the witch's curse.
Then Dad and son and the others go to see his brother, the brother-in-law, uncle, whatever. Uncle lets them in. Brother's been shooting elves all day, and I wrote conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, he has a bomb shelter and a bunch of guns and ammo, and he's talking about the government, and he's blaming it all on the toy factory, but that burned down. So, but he's prepared for the apocalypse.
Yeah, he's been playing for this, I wrote.
Yep.
Bart has enough baskets for 10 years. That's what I have next. Does he have a
Yeah,
lot of
so-
baskets?
He told them he got all the elves before it burned down somehow. I don't know, but he's got a lot of them.
So then Dad and Uncle Ronnie grab their shotguns. Uncle Ronnie gives Tommy a baseball bat and tells him to cover his dad's backside. Take his 6.
The dad decides to be the hero. He's going to go out and figure out what's going on and get rid of all the elves. He doesn't know how
Well,
he's going to
you,
do it, but
Karen.
he's going to try. He's going to try because that's what you do. You're
That's what
a
dads
hero.
do. Dads do that.
Right.
Shit, Karen.
But Ronnie thinks Sophia is very pretty, so he kicks Tommy out in case they can get together. He says
I
things
wrote-
could happen.
Next thing I have is Uncle wants to get with Sophia, even though she's
Yeah.
already kissy faced with Dad.
Yeah. So he's got hope.
You know, brothers, what you do? I guess I wouldn't know, but that's what I hear. People talk, you hear things, Karen.
So Ronnie kicks Tommy out.
Then we cut to the lady, old lady, and she's beating all the elves at poker. Karen, she's
Yeah.
cleaning
And
up.
they're basically begging her not to make them drink anymore, but she's not having it.
Nope. And then we cut to Dad and Tommy sharing moment.
Well, there was a funny part where she makes him drink and his head blows off, the elf,
Yeah,
because he had so much to drink. So she's handling herself just fine.
Yeah,
She's
fine.
got no problems.
But next thing I have is Dad has a drinking problem? ?
The next thing that happens
But he's
is
sober now.
Tommy catches up to his dad and they have a moment where they talk about everything. Why didn't you come to Portland with us? My business went out under. I started
it's crazy.
drinking. And so the whole family bonding moment happens here. And then there's an elf dancing in the background that wants to get their attention, but they're bonding. And then finally, James gives Tommy the gun and says, here, you get to shoot the elf. And he does.
Then we see father and son go into the house, and then we have the Shining reference here. I wrote.
Yeah, they go into they went to Bart's house because they said go to the source. The source is Bart's house, and an elf. As soon as they walk in, you see a hatchet, and then he comes out. And I think he says, "Here's Johnny," doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
So then they go to the basement of the house, and there's a bunch of elves. I wrote.
Bunch of the little ones, yeah. And I thought it
Elves.
was the witch in there, but turns out that it's one big elf.
Then Dad tries to shoot all the elves, but he's stopped.
He tries to shoot the big elf because that's the source.
Oh yeah, there's a big elf now.
Yeah. And the little elves are jumping all over him because it's like Gulliver's Travels. What they got knocked to the ground, Tommy and Dad, and then all of a sudden all the little elves are all around them. And I think when he shot the big elf, it healed or something, but I couldn't tell.
Remember King's Island, Karen, and going into the boat ride where we saw Gulliver's Travels.
Sure. I probably only did that when it was hot and then there was air conditioning in it.
Well,
right?
yeah, it's air conditioning. what
That's
you
the
do.
only reason you went in it.
Yeah, it's not there anymore. But then son tries to take a baseball bat to the elf.
Somehow he gets the bat and he just throws it at the elf, but it barely hits him, but the elf goes down. And then they
Next
both
thing I
start
have is
beating on him.
elf battles Dad with a shotgun. Dad ends up shooting the big elf.
Yeah, and they run over it and start beating it.
The big elf.
Yeah.
Big elf throws smaller elves at Dad and son, and I wrote bad special effects right here.
Terrible special effects, yeah.
Dad shoots the elf some more. Big elf stabs Dad, ? I didn't know what was going on here.
No, Dad's fine.
All right, so then son throws the bat at elf and dad shoots it and then they beat it.
Yes.
And then we have a Home Alone reference, I think.
Yes.
Even though I've never seen those films. Thank
No,
God.
but they make it the Home Alone 2, which I never saw, but they mention it.
Never seen any of them. Thank the Lord.
I saw the first one. It was funny.
Then we see a cop eating donuts.
Yeah, they're walking out of the house like heroes, and then you see the cop out there eating a donut and drinking coffee.
Tells them to go into the house, unlock the doors, and be safe. And then the grandma playing cards, all of a sudden she's untied and all the elves are headless, and she apparently vomits, Karen.
She's puking in the bucket because
Had too much to drink.
Yeah.
Then we're back at James' house or the uncle's house. I don't know.
The uncle's house, and James and Sophia hug.
James and Sophia share a moment, I wrote.
Yep.
It's all sentimental. Next, we cut to making breakfast. And it's cheesy eggs and bacon, Karen. That looked fucking delicious.
Yeah, it did look good. It's not vegan, that's for sure.
So then dad and son share a breakfast. Dad gives son his present, and it looks like an iPhone, Karen.
Yeah, it's a phone, which is the running joke through the whole thing, because his phone just gets more and more battered through the whole movie.
Did not know. Dad takes the son to the airport. I don't know.
They're
talk about coming back during spring break.
Yeah. Next April, they joke, maybe Easter weekend. There won't be toys that try to kill us that weekend. Ha ha ha. And then the movie kind of is over. And then we see the witch Gertrude cursing a little stuffed bunny. So that's where your sequel potential.
Yeah, and there's Salt Lake International Airport. And we're in Utah.
The end.
Credits, the end.
They did show bloopers too, which was kind of fun.
Did not go that far. All right. What did you think of the witches, whatever the hell it is you had?
It's the witch's curse.
The witch's curse. Yes.
It's good.
Very fruity.
It's obviously a Halloween drink. It's very sweet. I will say
fruity,
it's very sweet. Yeah. But I like it.
Yeah, I'm not mad about the blackberries and
could be I think you could make it into a punch for your Halloween party.
For sure, Karen. Anything we learned today, Karen?
We just learned about Elf on a Shelf and long-haired chihuahuas.
Anything else? Is that it?
No, that was it. Some movie references in there. It was only an hour. It wasn't a long film.
Sorry, boys and girls, we did not give you enough learning this week.
It's close to the holidays. It's almost time to be off for a while. Off of school.
Try to do better.
I will.
All right, Karen. Are we moving on to next film?
Yeah, you think you can beat this one?
Oh, is it my choice?
Yeah. The gauntlet has been thrown.
Right. Karen, the film I've chosen is called The Children from 2008. So it's vintage compared to your film.
The Children from 2008.
The Children. Yes, 2008.
Why did you pick that one?
I think because it's just a Christmas film, Karen.
Okay, that's good enough reason. Do you have a drink?
I do, Karen.
What would that be?
Karen, the drink I've chosen is called Blood Upon the Snow.
Wow.
I know, right?
That's a good one. What are you going to need for that?
We're going to need triple sec, cream de cacao, white variety, not the dark, lemon juice, and bitters, and vodka.
Lemon juice?
Vodka.
Oh, and vodka. Okay.
Vodka. You got to have vodka, Karen. So we're going to need 1 ounce of vodka, 1/2 ounce triple sec, 1/2 ounce creme de cacao, white, 1/2 ounce lemon juice, and some bitters. So we're going to add the vodka, triple sec, creme de cacao, and lemon juice to a shaker with crushed ice and shake well. Then we're going to pour it into a tall glass. And then we're going to add more crushed ice. I feel like this is more crushed ice than anything. Then we're going to top it with 10 dashes of bitters, which is kind of reddish. So we got kind of blood upon the ice.
Gotcha. Blood upon the snow. Got it.
Yeah, blood upon the snow. This film was released December 5th, but, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter at this point. It's a Christmas horror film. Anyone you need to thank today, Karen?
I want to thank all the listeners who are still here after Krampusnacht. Thanks for listening. We know there are a lot of podcasts out there. We appreciate when you spend time with us. What about you, Greg?
Lost some because of Krampusnacht.
I know. We're probably going to have a dip. What about you, Greg? Who do you need to thank?
I'm going to need to thank the band Verse 13 for providing all the music. Scary Spirits podcast.
Music definitely makes the podcast better.
Anything else, Karen?
Please drink responsibly.
Yes.
Thanks so much for listening. Want to keep in touch? Check out our website, scaryspirits.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Scary Spirits Podcast. Find us on YouTube at Scary Spirits Podcast. If you have questions or comments, you can email us at info@scaryspirits.com. To help us grow the podcast, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. You know, we really do appreciate your support. And as always, please drink responsibly.